Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the stream. It is a green day on the market, so hopefully, hopefully your portfolios are looking pretty darn good. What can I say? What can I say? It's just one of those days. It's one of those days for sure. All right, guys, let's immediately jump into the market here. Let's pull it on up. All right. So as you guys can see, we are having a green day. We're up 0.25% at this point, although we got a little bit of a red candle starting to develop here. So we'll have to see how this is going to end. We are overall healthy month. We're well above this blue line. Anybody who does not know what that blue line is, well, that's where we entered the month. So you can sort of trace it back and you can see right in here, this is where we entered. This way here, we have an idea what's going on. So right now on the month, we're up 3.61%. So it's really looking, it's looking pretty good that we might have a green July. Mind you, there are some catalysts coming up. August 1st is a big catalyst, although that technically would be August. Of course, August 1st is the day all of those tariffs are going to go live. So all those letters that Trump sent out. And it is looking like we're not going to have a deal in time. We're not going to have a deal by the 1st. And I'm okay with that. I'm kind of okay with that because here's kind of my philosophy. It's like, don't just take a deal so that we have a deal by the 1st of August. Try to get us a better deal. But it's not, I don't know how good of a deal. I don't know how good of a deal Carney's going to be able to pull off. In fact, and this kind of goes to the title of today's episode, the whole thing with China, the premiers are meeting and they've actually asked Ottawa. They come out and they said, look, we need to start bettering our relationship with China because we're going to need to rely on them more for trade. Kind of giving us a hint that the U.S. may not be as friendly as we're hoping. So we'll see how that's all going to go. All right, back to the charts. The S&P 500 up 0.68. So it's looking pretty strong. The U.S. market, I mean, once again, these are like all-time highs. It's just ticking along. It's kind of like we don't care what's happening. We don't care what catalysts. We don't care about the tariffs. We're just gonna have all-time highs as usual. So we'll have to see how that's all going to look. Eventually, I mean, you can only build a house of cards so high before things start to fall. So we're going to have to see what's going to happen here. But for now, I think August is going to probably be fine. NASDAQ, not at an all-time high. We did have a little bit of a retracement here. But we are in the green today, up 0.30%. And we do have some tech. Some tech earnings are coming out today. In fact, I think today, after hours, might be Tesla. I believe Tesla is today after hours. So we'll have to peek in. We'll peek in on Tesla after the market closes. See if we get any hints on where they are going. I do know somebody who thinks they're going to go up. So I'm not as confident. I'm really not as confident with Tesla. So we'll see. We'll take a look as we move along. The Dow Jones is having a pretty good day, up a full 1.04%. And the Russell, another good day, up 0.92%. And that blue line, way down there. I got to scroll to get to it. So the Russell's having a very, very good month. But mind you, the Russell, where you've got a lot of small cap companies in there, it can fall fast. It can fall big. So we'll have to keep that in mind as we move forward. Gold today is down. It's down a full 1.20%. Silver holding its own, up 0.08%. And oil is oil's up 0.35%. A lot of people are expecting oil to go down, but for today they're holding on. Different story in crypto. Look at this. Bitcoin down 1.25%. Ethereum down 3.75%. What can I say? It's not the best day. Let's go over to the heat maps. We will start with Canada, and let's take a look here. Oh boy, look at this. Canadian National Railway down 3.99%. Can you say there might be some entry points coming up? Yeah, that's pretty big, but looking at the rest of the landscape, Rogers is up 2.25%. Now, Rogers has earnings this week too. Actually, I think Rogers earnings might have come out this morning. So we'll take a look at that. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. Get rid of this ad. Look at this. Manulife Financial up 1.6. Banks pretty much, they're either up or down just a tiny, tiny bit. So I'd say flat. I would say flat for sure. Enbridge is up. There was something I was looking at earlier. Oh, I don't know where they've gone. Oh, I don't know where. Oh, look at this. Celestica over here. Celestica up a full 6.90%. So that's not too shabby. Switching to the United States. Over here in the United States, most of tech, well, I want to say most of tech, NVIDIA. NVIDIA kind of is most of tech when you compare it by market caps, but NVIDIA up a full 2.05%. Apple's pretty flat. Broadcom up a tiny bit. Google, Microsoft flat. Meta up a little bit. Palantir up a full 3.20%. Those looking at those defensive plays. So not too shabby, not too shabby. So we'll have to see how this is all going to come in. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. All right, oh boy. Now let's head to Redville. So as you can see, crypto is a mess today. We've got Bitcoin down, Ethereum down, Solana down, Cardano down, Dogecoin down. It's looking pretty down. Now, there are a lot. Here's one. I don't even need to scroll in. There's a lot of crap coins out there. So there's more than 15,000 of them. I like to highlight one each day. And today I'm going to grab one that I've never heard of before. And I didn't have to go far. In fact, it looks like this is a brand new coin. It's called Pump Fun or Pump.Fun. This guys screams to me. It screams rug pull. It screams rug pull. I don't know what it is. I kind of don't want to know what it is, but it's got one of these type of names that people, it's got a meme coin type of name that kind of draws people in. So right now, yeah, I mean, it's worth 0.38 of a cent, but I'll tell you, this one would make me very, very nervous. Normally, and as I said, normally I come in and I find some other little coin, and let's still find another little coin because pump coin feels to me like a rug pull. Let's just grab this little coin right here. What is this? The Dairy Protocol. I don't know what this is. I kind of don't care anyway, but it's worth 0.69 of a penny. This one at least has a little bit of history. I would personally, this one or Pump Fun, I would not touch either of them. If you want to get into crypto and you want to play with some of these penny stocks, I was going to say penny stocks. If you want to play with some of these crap coins, do your research. Read your white paper. Be prepared to be rug pulled, especially with something like Pump Coin or Pump Fun. Oh boy, there's no fun in pumping. Have you ever pumped up a tire? That's not fun. It's a pain. It's a pain. So, or an air mattress. Oh boy. So anyway, pump and fun, they just don't go together. All right, guys, let's hit back to the folks. I can hear Jill. Jill is just cracking up in another part of the house. I'm just saying, pumping, not fun. I'm going to leave it at that. All right, let's jump on in here and check out the chat. Of course, we have the bell coming up in about 5 minutes. Brian is first in the house with a good afternoon, everyone. And Trump doesn't seem to want anything less than 15%. Yep, that's the thing. I think what we kind of have to do is, in a way, if he wants 15%, let's make sure the 15%'s on everything. You know what? It's like, if you want 15 across the board, let's put 15% on the oil. Let's put 15% on the potash, on the things you need. Let's put the 15% on them too. And then we'll see how your farmers feel. We'll see how your oil executives feel. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what comes out of that mess. And the fact that we do have the premiers now saying we should be improving our relations with China. So maybe China will become one of our big trading partners, like bigger than they are now. Cowboy is in the house with the greetings all. Rory says, hi there, waiting for the rug pull on world markets. Ah, boy. CPX was up. Yes, well, oil in general. Like I said, oil was up today. So definitely that's good for a lot of the oil companies. Paul is in the house. Good afternoon, watching two videos. This and Cyber Bulls for Tesla. So there we go. Yes, well, Tesla, we got it coming. We got it coming. We're going to see what happens there with Tesla. Cowboy says Taco Friday. Trump always chickens out. What can we all say? Let's see. Google, Tesla, IBM, AT&T, and T-Mobile, to name a few, reporting earnings today. Yeah, absolutely. That's what I was saying. There's quite a bit of tech. And then, of course, in August, we will have NVIDIA. Those are always fun days. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good with NVIDIA. Show the HIMS chart with IT6. What do you mean by IT6? But yeah, I can pull up HIMS. So this, of course, is it is a U.S. stock, but I'll pull it up here. All right. So this here is Hims and Her Health. And Paul has been playing this one. And a lot of people have. I mean, they have, well, you can sort of see right here, right now, you can see that this is a nice big jump. I believe Paul played this jump. I'm just going to pull up their 1 year. And you can see they do have this habit of making some very interesting jumps. And if you play them right, there is money to be made there. And Paul has been doing really, really well. All right. Whoops. I guess it helps if I actually share the screen, right? Oh boy, we do have a minute and a half to the bell, but yeah, this is what I was talking about. This is HIMS, so HIMS and Hers Health class. These are the Class A shares, but you can see there's a lot of volatility here, and some of this volatility, if you play it right, now you're going to probably you'll want technical analysis on this. I believe Paul has been using TA to pull off some of these moves, and this little move in here, I believe Paul just hit pay dirt with this little move right here. So what can I say? All right, Larry, Mary is in the house. Larry's probably here or coming soon enough, but Mary's in the house, guys. Mary is our official captain of the like button. So if you have not hit that like button yet, be sure to hit that button, turn it green or blue or whatever color. Yeah, maybe, well, if you're colorblind, it might, like if you're blue colorblind, maybe it looks green. I don't know. All right. Brian says, good afternoon, Mary. I pressed the like button. Yeah, and Paul is saying, damn, enter button, HIMS plus 17%. Yeah, that's what we were looking at here. Like, because, if I back up and let's just go here to let's go to the 5-day. I mean, look at this. We're talking from $48 to $58. That's quite the pump. Better than the pump fund coin, that's for sure. Loblaw's not doing good so far. Lawsuits probably taking the toll. Oh boy. Yeah. What can I say? And pump it up. Pump coins sounds like something Trump is involved in. Oh, guys, it is time. Here we go. The market is closed. The market is closed. Paul says hymns saved my bacon today. Oh, sometimes. I don't know the full story here, but if Paul had a bad trade on one of his trades, sometimes something like hymns can come along and can undo the damage of another trade. So what can we say? Rory says CNR earnings not so good, down to 131 a share. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good for sure. And Cowboy saying CNR too much money, not enough divs. Yeah. I mean, you're not. CNR is technically a growth stock, although lately I'd like to see them do some of that growth part. We haven't had they've had the last year has been really bad for them. So, oh boy. Now I'll tell you, I imagine there's a lot of CNR fans that are looking at CP and saying, is now the time to jump ship? So we gotta take a look at this. We gotta take a look at this for sure. CNR price to book is still expensive. Yeah, it is. It is up there. Let's see. Paul says another way to look at tariffs and Trump. Does the world want what is this? 342,034,432 USA customers. That is true. That is true. I mean, they are the biggest economy in the world. And if you are in business, you want to be able to provide that level of customers. You don't want to ignore them, that's for sure. So what can we say? Yeah, I know. I can't believe it. Kievakaz in the house. Well, good afternoon, gang. Jim is here with an I am here. Hymns entered at 42.76 on June 26. Yes. Pierre is saying, Palantir, a gift from the market gods. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, Palantir has been doing fantastic. Now though, guys, and I do want to let's just take a quick peek in here on where Tesla finished their day. I loaded Tesla in here for us, so we can get a little look here. Right now, here's the post market. Right now, they're down a tiny bit in the post. So 332.50. They finished the day at 332.91. But keep in mind, there's a lot more to come with earnings. And here's what we're expecting. We're expecting 39.7 cents on the EPS, and the revenue we're expected 22.28 billion. Now, both of these numbers are down big time compared to just a year ago. So we'll have to see even if that plays in. Now, I know, and Paul, I think Paul's expecting them to go up. So I was actually looking before the stream came. Before the stream, I was thinking about making a play on Tesla, and I just didn't have a confident feeling either direction with them. So I opted out this time around. But I'll tell you, if they do go up, I lost opportunity. But if they go down, then I'll feel a lot better. But we'll see. We'll see. Cowboy says more shrink now. All right. And Jim says, I keep looking at CNR, but it doesn't turn my crank, so I haven't jumped in. All right, fair enough. I mean, this is the thing too, right? If a company doesn't excite you, there's always other options. You don't have to get into the railroads. There are definitely other options for sure. Or you could go CP. That's another option. Paul says Pierre also bought Palantir July 2nd, 133.91. Nice. CPX. I like seeing that. Let's actually take a look at CPX. I have not looked at them today. All right. Here we go. So Capital Power. Look at, yeah, they're up 5.18%. Look at that. That's a nice jump for sure. So we're going to pull them up in here as well because I want to see their earnings. All right. Because I'm assuming that that's an earnings related because, oh, it's not. It's not an earnings. Okay. Because a lot of times when you get a big jump like this, it's from earnings, but there must be some kind of news going on. Let's take a look here. Capital Power rated to outperform by National Bank. Uh-oh. My camera lost its fulcrum. There we go. Let's just put this over here. All right, I'll fix that. I'll fix that in a moment. I'm just like, luckily it was small. The camera just toppled over. So I'm like, what the heck? All right, back to Capital Power. Capital Power rated outperformed by National Bank. So National Bank improved their outlook on Capital Power. So that might be part of it for sure. Let's see. TSX drops its industrial share slide. Now that's 4 days ago. So I'm not going to worry about 4 days ago. I'm thinking more or less the fact that they have their outlook has been raised. So that's probably not a bad thing. So I'm thinking, yeah, that might have been what pushed them up, and that they're slowly coming back down. That kind of happens after that type of event. But yeah, Capital Power. What can I say? All right. Brian says, I've taken $21,000 in profits from Palantir, buying in and out since $7.70 a share. Last bought in 100 shares at $82. Ah, yes. And you know what? Let's actually take a gander. I'm going to get rid of, actually, I won't get rid of Rogers. Let's go to Rogers first because here is the earnings. So Rogers, and this is kind of why we're seeing some of that movement on Rogers, but look at this. So they actually beat the EPS by 3.37%. And their revenue, they beat it just a little bit by 0.61%. That is definitely enough to get folks a little bit, well, interestingly enough, people got more excited, but they went up and they came right back down because you can see up here, they wicked all the way up to 35.15, and then they also wicked down to 33. There's a lot of volatility this morning on Rogers. So very, very interesting. But overall, I think once people settled in, they're doing okay. They're doing okay on the day. That's for sure. So what can I say? Andrew says, what are your thoughts on TOI.V? TOI, I do like, was it TOI.com or Topico.com? Let's actually pull them up here. So this one here is one of these ones, or topicus.com. They're a spin out from a Constellation Software. So more of that kind of vertical software. I like them. I like Constellation Software as well. I mean, Constellation Software is just absolutely huge. And this year, I think they're doing well. So we do have them sort of correcting a little bit to 182. I'm not super concerned about that. When you pull them out and take a look, you can see they have been moving in the right direction. Like, they were about $120, like we're talking just a year ago. They have been moving, and they have, they're going to have corrections. But I think they're probably getting ready for another move. I do like this company overall. And, the management team knows what they're doing. I think there's somebody to watch. So if something like Constellation Software is out of your price range, Topicus.com. I think they're another good option. And I think they're going to be big. Maybe not completely. They may not catch up to the company they were spun out of, but they know how to get the job done. So I do like Topicus. All right, Brian says, I don't have enough life left in me to make a decent amount from CNR. It's starting to feel that way. It's starting to feel that way. They're still one of my favorite stocks. But sometimes I look at them and I'm like, how much of that is biased? How much of that is biased? Because, a lot of my family used to work for CNR back in the day. So there's probably a little bit of bias in there. Ricardo says, good afternoon. What are your thoughts on NTCPF, exploration company for Canada, or for company for copper and gold in Canada? Let's take a look. NTCPF. I'm not familiar with them, but let's see what we got. NTC. Whoops. Let's try it this way. NTCPF. Here we go. Okay, so North Isle, copper and gold. All right, let's pull them up here and take a look here. Bit of a penny stock, so they're worth 93 cents. I just want to come down and see if I've got any information here. I got nothing here that's going to help me. Let's take a look quickly at them in the last year. Okay, so something seems to be up. They have risen from about 32 cents up to 92 cents. So that's not too shabby there. I'm going to just come in here and see if I've got any key data in here at all. All right, I do got some data. Their debt to equity ratio. Love it. They have very little debt. We're talking 1% debt to equity ratio. However, they're not profitable yet. So you can see that return on equity, negative 57.36%. So that's the thing. A lot of times, especially in the Canadian mining sector, you could have a long time where you're not profitable. I don't know yet. Like, I do not know. Coming in here blind, I don't know if they've even broken ground yet. So they still might be looking and have not found anything yet. I don't know. So it's kind of one of these things where I think with a company like this, I would be doing a lot of due diligence, finding out what they're doing, finding out their plan, finding out if, where they are in the process. And if they have found gold, and if they're trying to set up a mine, how far along are they in the regulatory process? When are they going to be able to break ground? When are they going to be able to make a profit? So I'm always a little leery of that. But with all of that being said, I like their debt. I'll give them that. All right. And Jim says, I'm thinking about getting QDTE, the States one. Yeah, why not? Let's jump in. What is it? QDTE. And I have no clue what that is. No clue what that is. Jim, you might have to give me more information. QDTE is not bringing up a thing. Not bringing up a thing. All right. Ricardo says, I'm holding 250 shares. All right. So that's the NTCPF. Okay. Especially if you got them when they were 30 cents, that would be fantastic, because you would have already doubled your money on that. But almost tripled. Yeah, this is the thing. With a company like that, I would, of course, do the research without knowing what, and maybe that research changes everything. Maybe once you've sort of got an idea of what's going on behind the scenes with them, it might completely change everything. But yeah, I wouldn't go in big. But I suppose 250 is not that bad. Not that bad. All right. Rory says, oops, a daisy. Oopsie. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The phone. Yeah. The phone just went. It was hilarious. I was just like, what the heck? Paul says, on the 2-hour chart, there was a buy signal on NVIDIA yesterday. At close 167. NVIDIA is flat on the last 5 days. Yeah. And when Paul's talking like buy signals, this is all technical analysis. So when you apply technical analysis to charts, a lot of time what you're doing is you're looking for patterns, because what you'll find is You might be thinking, okay, well, charts, stuff goes up, stuff goes down. There's no sense in it, but there really is, because what causes the prices to go up and down? It's all about human psychology. And human psychology, well, people have a way of thinking, people have a way of behaving. So that is something that is predictable. And that's what technical analysis is doing. It's looking at patterns of human behavior, applying it to the charts. So a lot of times things will move in a specific way that might reflect the amount of fear, the amount of greed, just the overall feelings in, I hate to say society, but sure. And, it'll make patterns. It'll actually make patterns. So it might make a triangle. Or it might make something really elaborate, like head and shoulders or a teacup. And when it breaks out of that pattern, historically, it tends to break a specific way. So that gives you a higher probability on how it's going to break. But mind you, it doesn't always break the way you think. You may have a probability. If you've got a situation where you say, okay, 75% of the time, this will break to the upside. Well, guess what? There is that 25% of the time when it doesn't. And no matter what TA you have, if we run into a black swan event, everything's out the window. Everything is out the window. So you could be, for example, if you're forecasting the TA in some tech company on the day that NVIDIA has earnings, even though that tech company, all the TA is saying they should be breaking to the upside, if NVIDIA were to have bad earnings, that sort of then pulls tech down with them. That could cause it to break in the other direction. So just one of those things to keep in mind. But if you're skilled with TA, and even if you can narrow it down to a 60, let's just say 60%. If you can narrow it down to where you're where you're right 60% of the time, that's not bad. And you will make money if you're right 60% of the time on the market, provided you're not doing anything really stupid, because you want to make sure that that 60% is not all on little bids, while you're 40% wrong or on bigger bids. So there's a lot of different factors that come into play. Cowboy says, was a nice start of the day on CPX. Yeah, I mean, that was nice. I like it. So I wonder if CPX is a Carney Brookfield takeover. I did notice there was one of the Brookfield companies that was up. I noticed it earlier today, and it was up a good amount. But it wasn't Brookfield Asset Management. It wasn't Brookfield Corporation. It was one of the other Brookfield ones. But let's see. Cowboy says Carnage is into so many companies. Total conflict of interest. He's got a lot. I mean, it's kind of one of those things, right? It's like, I understand why, I believe the conservatives have said he should just sell everything, and then put all of that money in a blind trust. And then the blind trust can reinvest in whatever they want to, so he doesn't know what he has. But I mean, at the same time, you have to sort of look at it, one of the other downsides to that, where everything is up. If you force them to sell everything and then have the blind trust put it all, buy everything back, you may generate a whole ton of capital gains. So I can see why there's resistance to that idea, because I know if I was in his position and selling everything the way that the conservatives wanted would create a whole bunch of capital gains, I would be very hesitant. I would be hesitant as well. Tesla's climbing. Let's take a look. All right, we're heading on over. All right, Tesla's up a little bit. So right now they're sitting at 334.85. So they're up a tiny bit. All right, I was almost, Paul, I was expecting from that to see Tesla up around 340, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, wait till we'll have to see what the data is going to look like. And the other thing with Tesla, though, and this is something I've noticed in the past, even if all the data looks good, a lot of times it boils down to that conference call. Sometimes Elon can come on and say the wrong thing, or sometimes they can have some bad data, but if they give some happy news to how they're going to fix the issues that they're currently having, sometimes that's enough to overpower the data. So it's kind of cool. And this is crazy. Rory, this is crazy. So right now, there's 200 names on that longest ballot in Alberta, a straight up election interference. The group of people, and this is what happened to Pierre Poilievre at Carleton. There was like a crazy number of people on the ballot. It also meant that it took a lot longer to count. But yeah, it's happening again in the by-election. So, I don't know anything about this group that's doing it, but I did hear a suggestion yesterday that I thought we might want to do. So in the past, you used to have to pay a fee to get your name on the ballot, but they got rid of that. So now it doesn't cost anything to get your name on the ballot. I would love to see, if we brought a fee back, how many names would be popping up on the ballot. That's what I would like to see. Because it seems to me like if people are going to abuse it, let's put a fee on it to make it a little. It doesn't have to be a huge fee, but let's say it's $100, $100 a name. That person or those people. I don't know if they're going to dish out. I don't know if they're going to dish out. What is that? 20, not 20,000, but $2,000. I don't think they're going to do it. I don't think. I mean, what can I say? Brian says, let's see. I got out of all my mining and exploration companies a couple of years ago. Every new core sample was a pump, but the mines never open. Yeah, this has been the story of Canada. It's so hard to get a mine open. It's ludicrous. And we have this new bill, this One Canada economy, that's going to knock things down to 2 years. But I gotta say, I would have loved to have seen that a little bit even, 2 years is still a long time. Considering what we're facing right now with the U.S. tariffs, the need to get the Canadian economy moving so that way people aren't going to be paying the price. I would like to have seen a lot faster. I would have loved to have seen like a year or less to get things open. And even now, now we've got a situation where, the natives are saying that Carney didn't consult them. So we got that, and there's going to be challenges. This is still going to turn into a bit of a mess, unfortunately. But yeah, no, it needs to have been faster, and definitely all stakeholders should be involved, but it still has to happen. Cowboy says, I will have to search through that ballot. Total BS. Oh, I know. All right. Michael says, hello, Candace. Just touching base to say that there has been recovery in Atfamin resources, the tin miner in Congo, due to a ceasefire. Okay. Fair enough. I'm not completely on the ball on what's been going on over in Congo, but hopefully, now this is the problem, right? If Atfamin starts doing good because they have a ceasefire, let's hope that ceasefire can last. Because obviously, if the ceasefire goes away, then, then all of a sudden Atfamin has problems again. So, but yeah, it is interesting. It is interesting. And you did not yet sell your shares. Okay. Let's see. He will steal more than he loses. Carney. Andrew says, yeah, pretty soon. Let's see here. Michael says, hello, Candace, just share. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I got it. Let's see here. But there's a new sentence on there. Glad I kept my shares, but still underwater. Well, let's hope you can get out from underwater. And also keep in mind too, sometimes you'll get these opportunities to take a smaller loss than a bigger loss, because if this is a temporary ceasefire, you might want to weigh your options. Not saying that you should take that loss, but I personally would be weighing my options, because I won't sit. If I have, like, I know people out there, they say, I will never sell at a loss. All right, that's, fair enough. But if you have something that is just not recovering, sometimes it doesn't hurt to make a sideways move. So maybe move something from one company that doesn't have a lot of potential to recover anytime soon, and move it into somebody else who might be struggling but does have potential to actually get out of the hole that they're in. So a sideways move like that can make a lot of sense, and can be very good and healthy for your portfolio on the long run. Because it's sometimes, and I know there's people who get stuck in a stock that's in the red, and it just, they just never get anywhere. And then years later, they're still saying, well, I still got hope. I still hope that they're going to eventually get me into the green. But, sometimes cutting your losses or making, and even if you're making a sideways move, here's the thing. If you're making a sideways move, it's not even, well, here, let me show you. You guys know where I'm going. I'm going to the whiteboard, because I like the whiteboard. All right, let's get a little thing here. So, all right, I'm going to put this as our baseline. So this is where we started. Now, you bought that stock and it goes down and it just keeps on moving this direction. All right, so you might be out, let's just say you're out 100 units of whatever it is. But you're out 100% at that point in time, and it just doesn't seem to be recovering. Well, some other stock comes along and it drops down, but it's got a little bit of a better potential. It's in a better sector, or it's in the same sector and it's just managed better. Well, sometimes what you can do is you can take that 100 from here, move it over here, and you're actually making progress to get yourselves out of the hole. And if we go far enough, let's just move over this way. If we go far enough, we can get to a point where, guess what? It's now, you're now in the green. So that is something that goes in. Now, here's the beautiful part as well, Michael. Here's the beautiful part. By doing this, right here, you have taken a capital loss right here. So eventually, let's just say you got this out of the green and you decide to sell. Well, yeah, at that point, there's a capital gain, right? So CG, but if this capital gain here is like, we'll say it's 30 units. So whatever units it is, just 30. I just want something that we compare. Well, right here, you've got 100 capital loss. You can now cancel that out with this, and you're still sitting on 70 capital loss that you can hold on to and use it on something else. So it can make sense. It can make sense if you got a stock that's a loser like that. All right. Cowboy says, let's see, they should be charged and jailed. I'm going to head back over here and see. Paul, Tesla is down now. They're now down to 329. All right. Yes, Chef says, there were 6 candidates on the ballot in the riding I live in. Nice. Yeah. And that happens. I mean, a lot of ridings, there's probably for most places, there's probably 4 or 5. And I think 6 might even be a case situation too. Because, you look at it, if you've got all of the regular, so you got the 3 regular parties, so your conservatives, your liberals, and your NDP. Now, you might also have a green candidate, so there's 4. You might have, there's that new one, that new People's Party, so that would be 5. And then if there's one of the old progressive conservatives, so there's some older conservatives that didn't like the new conservatives, the ones that came from the merger. with the Reform Party. So you might have one of those as well. And oh gosh, you throw in an independent, you got 7. Then there's all of these other little sort of niche parties. Like I think, as far as I know, the Canadian Rhinoceros Party is still around, and I think there's even a communism party. There's a whole bunch. I believe there used to be a marijuana party. I don't know if they're still in existence, because now that marijuana is legal, maybe there's no need for them. But yeah, it can get up there pretty quickly. But we're still talking like maximum maybe 10 candidates. We're not talking 200, where the like in Pierre Poilievre's riding, it's just basically a group of people that are just they're all independent, of course. They're just muddling everything up. All right. No, not $100. Try 100,000. Well, it wasn't really 100. I was just saying, like, think of it as 100%. If you 100% of the stock that you purchase, or just 100 units of something, it could have been that you bought 100 shares. I just wanted numbers so that we could just, and a lot of times, and this is what I find when I'm doing an example, using something simple like 100 or 1,000 is so much easier than if I said, okay, well, this person has $154,312.28 in this stock. That's a terrible thing, because numbers will bog people down. I would be fine with it personally, but for somebody who's just learning, sometimes just using nice, simple, round numbers, it just makes things easier. And it's all about relativity in those situations. 2 years is too long. Absolutely. 2 years is way too long. And that's the kind of the thing, like with that one Canada economy bill. I mean, the Conservatives supported it because it was moving it in the right direction. But the Conservatives also came out and said, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. We need it to be more. We need the time reduced even more. And I agree. I absolutely agree. Rory says, I agree, because the truck convoy organizers are facing 7 years in prison for mischief. Yeah, mischief. Yeah, I've heard stuff about. I've definitely heard stuff about that. 7 years to me seems like a long time, but I'm not fully versed on what everything that happened there. But which is funny, because I'm in Ottawa and this is where it happened. But yeah, 7 years does seem a little bit excessive. I will say that. Nor the place for this topic. Haha, I'll lose it. There we go. We're I mean, hey, do the truck convoy people have any stocks? we'll go there. Okay, Brian says, I sold my pot stocks a few weeks ago at a 96% loss. 2,700 flushed away, cleaned up a few duds that week. Yeah, and that's a funny thing with the legalization of marijuana. Everybody was like, oh my God, these stocks are going to the moon. I was listening to a lot of YouTubers who were just saying, this is going to be easy, free money. Well, that was not the case. I may be one of the few Canadians who made a profit. And that's just because of dumb luck. I happened to be online when Wall Street Bets pumped the weed stock that I had put a little bit of money into. And I took the profit. I was like, thank you. I'm taking it. And I did. All right. Jim says, QDTE Innovation, a covered call strategy ETF. All right. I'll take a look and see if that helps. QD. I still got the QDTE in here. INNOVATION. I now have my cap locks on for some reason, but yeah, that's not coming in at all either. Let me just try that 100. Yeah, I'm not sure what it is, but let me try something here. You know what? Sometimes we got to go to Google. All right. Well, we'll try this again. There we go. I want to, let's just see if I can get the exact ticker here from Google. Round Hill N100 ODE. This might be what we're looking for. QD. All right, here we go. QDTE Innovation 100 ODTE covered call strategy. So I think it's a US. I think that is a US one, Jim. All right. So let's try Yahoo. Let's try Yahoo QDTE. Here we go. There we go. That's exactly what it is. It is a US. It is a US stock here. All right. So yeah, the 0DTE. So that is like the Daymax. Those new Daymax stocks by Hamilton. They're the zero day options. So this is kind of cool. Like, I don't have a lot of information here on them, but I'm kind of curious. Actually, let's go to historical data. I kind of want to see. Let's just pull up the dividends and let's just take a look here. All right. Okay. So they look to be doing weekly dividends on this one here. So that's kind of what I was trying to get at. So the ones that we're doing in Canada, they're paying dividends twice a month. These ones here, and these are US, they are paying weekly. So yeah, that's kind of cool. I was actually, before the Daymax came out, I was really hoping they would go to weekly. Maybe down the road something will happen, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see. All right. Cowboy says, kind of strange how it only affects Pierre's ridings. Well, not really. This is absolutely whoever is behind it. They're messing with Pierre. Let's just face it. That's why it's not coincidence that it just happened to happen in Carleton and now it's just happening to happen in Alberta. Nah, it's all about Pierre. It's all about Pierre. AFM, how many shares do they have now? I do not know. Let me see. Rory, hey, maybe I'll buy CNR when it hits $30 a share. When Tracy Robinson gets shown the door, it happened to CPR Fred Green. Well, we'll have to see. I don't see them going down to $30 a share. That would be, yeah, that would be. Holy cow! If it got that low, I think everybody would bail before it got there. I can't even see them going down to $100 a share. Hunter Harrison, the railroad wrecker, DRX had a good day. Oh, DRX. Yeah, we've not looked at DRX in a while. All right, DRX. Here we go. This is our ADF group. Now, I had these guys in the 0 to 100K challenge for a while. I do like them. I know they are related to, I think, something to do with British. Yeah, they're design, engineering, connections, fabrication, industrial coding, steel structures, all of that fun stuff. But the company itself, I believe that they are based out of Britain. But yeah, look at this. They had a fantastic day. $7 to $10.30. I'm going to track out here a bit. So in a challenge, I had bought these guys down in here and we rode this up. And as things were starting to temper out, I did get out. They had quite the fall, but it looks like they're starting to make some moves again. It'll be, yeah. I'm not sure. Well, maybe they had earnings. Honestly, I don't know. But I do like DRX. I think the company has a lot of potential. And I think because of what they do, I think they will work well with this whole new push for infrastructure. So that they have that going for them for sure. All right. HH reminds me of J.R. Ewing from Dallas. That's the one who got shot. Who shot JR? Gotta love it. Here comes the bell. The bell's already happened. Either that or I'm really far behind. Gary is in the house with a hey yo. Hi, Gary. How are you? A communism party, aka the Liberals. Um, there actually was a communism party of Canada. Now this was like, oh my God, I think the last time I heard of them was maybe 10, 15 years ago. But yeah, we almost kind of need to, we kind of need, I kind of almost want to just go to a site and look up every registered party in Canada. It might scare me. Brian says, good afternoon, Gary. I was just watching your 5 ETF video and had to pause it to watch the stream here. 5 ETF video. I see. I don't know what video that is. I'm going to have to go check it out. What am I saying? What am I saying? Yep, I will. Your thoughts on DLCG. All right, let's pull them up. DLCG. For some reason, I'm thinking that I was not thinking Dominion Lending Centers. I was thinking of some kind of a fleet company. But all right, I'm going into this one blind because I obviously have never heard of Dominion Lending Centers. However, when the economy is rough, when people are short on cash, what do? Unfortunately, they do the wrong thing and they start borrowing. They start spending money they don't have. This is good for companies like, well, in this case here, Dominion Lending Centers. And what exactly do they do? Mortgage broker, franchiser, mortgage broker, data connectivity. All right. Well, yeah, these ones are a little bit more into lending. So for mortgages and such like that. Of course, one of the things I will say is a lot of these I'm going to call them a third party mortgage provider. A lot of these secondary mortgage providers, the interest they're going to hit you with, because if a regular one of the banks isn't willing to give you a mortgage, a lot of times some of these other ones that you're going to find are going to have crazy amounts of interest. But doesn't mean that's a bad thing for that company. That company might be pulling in money hand over fist. Let's pull up some key data here. I am not liking what I'm seeing right away. I got a return on equity of negative 151.52%. Holy banana bread. That will scare me. Tom, I'm running for the hills. I am running for the hills. This is interesting too. They also have a very low debt to equity, like 23%. In a company where lending is part of their business model, I expect to see a debt to equity ratio. I expect to see something more than 100%. That's what I expect to see. I'm seeing a low. Now, part of me is wondering, because we've got such a crazy return on equity, is this causing some kind of a skew here? Or is this causing this to skew? Something seems off with a couple of these numbers. So I'm a little, I don't know, Tom, I don't think I would touch these guys with a 10-foot pole personally. Yeah, there's just something I'm not liking here. If you disagree, be sure to do some serious due diligence on this one. Because like I said, I see things just from my, and this is coming in fresh, not having no information on the company, but just the little bit I've seen here right now has me a little concerned, does have me a little concerned. All right, Cowboy says the LNG Canada project started under Harper and just landed first shipment in South Korea this week. Yeah. This is exactly what we're talking about. Like, Harper. I mean, that's a long time ago. And that's what this one Canada economy bill should get that down to 2 years. But, yes and no. This is one of the other problems too, is it has to get put on a list that it is in Canada's best interest for it to get knocked down to those 2 years. So if you were to start a new mine today, and start the process, if it's not on that list, you're probably still looking at 15 years. But if, as long as you're on that list and you've been greenlit, then you're going to be able to get that significantly moved down. Let's see. And David Eby is taking credit for it. Oh boy. Him and Carnage. All right. Brian says, my pot stocks were part of the Pink Floyd album. I'll see you on the dark side of the moon. Maybe. Solana keeps going down. Yeah, today was not a good day for crypto right across the board. So Solana as well. But Solana had a pretty good run this month. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens a little bit later in the week. I have a feeling that crypto is going to recover a bit. Let's see. Yes, keep it in the tax shelter account. Did you pick up any of the Daymax? Yes, I did. I have some QMax in one of my accounts. Tom says, I see Air Canada is up 2.78%, has been somewhat volatile as of late. Might be good for some short-term plays. Maybe. Yeah, I have a feeling that Air Canada, I don't think the conditions of my previous swing trades with Air Canada, I don't think they're going to happen again. I have a feeling that Air Canada is, I'm going to need to find some new conditions for them, because part of the reason for that is all of their share buybacks. As the share buybacks continue, because they're, but over, I guess now, the last 5 months or so, plus the remaining 6-7 months, they're buying back in total 10% of their shares. That is creating a new basement. So the old swing trade, as much as I loved it and as much as the profits that came off of it, I think I'm going to have to redefine it. I think I will have to. Okay, I checked your Blossom. It wasn't there. Whose Blossom? Whose Blossom wasn't there? If you're looking for me on Blossom, I'm there. Let's see. Jim says, I watched an interview with the person putting to get her that thing in PP ridings, and they just don't like the way he handles politics. I agree that Canada is better off without him holding a seat. Okay. So yeah, that's what I think. I think it's basically, it is a move directly against Pierre Poilievre. So yeah, what can we say? Go Easy is another vulture bank. Yes, Go Easy is, and they've absolutely exploded. But yeah, there's a lot of banks out there. Their business models to take advantage of people who can't, whether it be a situation where, if your credit rating's just not perfect, they're there ready to give you that higher interest rate. So, there's those. And of course, the ones I hate the most are those payday loans. I mean, dear God, you get into them and it's like you never break even. Because by the time you pay off your payday loan, you're short for the next month. And guess what? What do you need? You need another payday loan. I've known people who practically always had an open payday loan going. And yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Rory says, Div was something I wanted to get into for some time, but the limit orders never hit. Oh, right. Diversified royalties. So yeah, I do like them. Now there are some people look at them and they're like, their fundamentals aren't perfect. Well, yeah, so not everybody has perfect fundamentals. Div certainly doesn't. I mean, their payout ratio is a little high. But they have done really well with what they do. And you got to look at the fact is when they're buying. So when they bought, for example, was it Chiba Hut? That's where their money is going. That's why they have some amount of debt. And this is just making them stronger. So I still really like Div. And the fact that they are pretty inexpensive, like what are they, $3.24, something like that right now? They're that stock when I got like $5 left over, I can be like, oh, let's grab another share of Div. It adds up fast. And, when you're dealing with a dividend as well, up around 8%, It's not too shabby. Let's see, best interest according to who? Now, it's always, and that is the question. That is the question. All right. So DLCG has went up 164% in the past year. Interesting. Now, and that is interesting. Absolutely. Do I still have them up? I do. I still have them up. I still have them up here. Let's just take it. Let's gander. Let's take a, like I said, I'm coming into this completely in the dark. But yeah. All right, here we go. So yeah, they went from 355 up to 895. Yeah, they have done. I mean, this is amazing. But it's that return on equity. So this is the type of thing that if I was interested in this company, there's no way I could do anything based on the data that I have. So this is where I would have to do more research. I would have to go back in and check out what's going on. Why, what is causing, for example, why are they bleeding so much money? Or is there something strange going on with that? So, for example, DLCG, let's actually pull them up in Yahoo. Here we go. Perfect. Now, the reason I'm pulling them up in Yahoo is sometimes TMX isn't always the best on really, really, really small stocks. So, especially if they're not on the TSX, because TMX owns the TSX. All right, so now we're going to come in here. We're going to pull this up. I'm going to come down to the data in here as well. Let's take a look here. All right, so yeah, they're definitely big time in trouble. Like we're seeing some stuff in here just the same. So look at here, return on equity, negative 149.77, profit margin, negative 150.47. Now, here's interesting. Their return on assets, though, is in the positive. That's interesting. Revenue, 81.85 million. There we go. So total cash, total debt. Now, this one here is showing a much higher debt than what TMX was showing, but it's showing 23.10 debt to equity. All right, fine. That's fine enough. Like I said, with this type of company, I expected this to be higher, like a lot higher. But yeah, it's interesting. Now, I'm kind of curious here. Let me just see here. I doubt we have a lot of analysts in here. Let's see here. Well, this is kind of interesting. So a lot of analysts are expecting the price to go up a little bit, but I nonetheless, this one does still scare me a little bit. But just looking at some of this, there's obviously something that I'm not seeing in this cursory data. So that's why I would need to go much deeper before I could do something. But analysts, I think the analysts seem to like this one a little bit more. So maybe you're onto something, Tom, but without going into it deeper, I'm a little hesitant on it. I'm a little hesitant nonetheless. But, I could be completely wrong. So let's just, we'll leave it at that. Yes, Chef says, not a fan of Pierre myself. I can understand why he says the things he does, but that doesn't mean I have to agree with it. No, I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, no, he has interesting ideas. And you don't have to like them. There's conservatives out there, there is a movement within the Conservative Party that thinks they should have a new leader. And, there is going to be in the spring, I believe, a leadership convention. So we'll have to see if he can hold on to that leadership. Most times when somebody loses the election, at least in the conservative parties, most times that person does not get a second chance. Actually, the one person I can think of who did get a second chance was Stephen Harper. Stephen Harper did that. He lost an election, stayed on as leader, and then came back and won. But yeah, so it happens. Candace, do you keep a public list of swing trades you're interested in taking or doing? Not really. It's an idea. It's an idea for sure. I mean, other than I think the only one that's really been public has been the Air Canada one. But yeah, there are other swing trades I do for sure. Actually, I just finished one quick swing trade. Alimentation Couche-Tard. So as soon as the initial hype finished from the 7-Eleven deal expiring, I did get in, and I actually sold out of them later today. Today actually was my exit. Yeah, it was a nice little trade. It was a nice little trade. And just to sort of actually, let me show you. Let me pull this up here. All right. To do alimentation Couche-Tard ATD. Here we are. Oh no, I clicked on the wrong button. All right, let's go back here. We'll do this again. I do not like the way their ads are. All right, I'm just going to pull this up here to the 1 month. So yeah, they had their big explosion. So I ended up getting in at somewhere along here. So somewhere's around 75 or so. And I got out a little over 76. It wasn't designed to be a big trade though. But it was just a quick little swing trade. Now, part of me was like, I should probably stay in. I probably should stay in. It's probably going to be fine, but I kind of just want to see if it settles down a little bit lower. I might get back in at that point, but I just wanted I wanted something quick. And I'm also kind of keeping my eye on August 1st. And if we're going to get a little bit of a retracement, it's really hard to say now. The thing is that I think most people are just they're not impacted by Trump the way that, he normally had been impacting people. So it's going to be interesting. It is going to be interesting. All right, guys, we are getting close to the end. We're not there yet, but we're getting closer. If you got your final questions, though, let's get them in. We'll see where they take us. Now, while you guys are doing that, I'm going to have a sip of coffee first. Oh, I love this iced coffee. I'm going to be so sad when it's back to regular coffee again. By then, I'll probably be sick of it, so I'll be fine. Coming up, our next video. So this will be available tomorrow afternoon for the channel members. Friday for the rest of you guys. I realized we have not done a deep dive on HYLD yet. So HYLD is up next. That will be, like I said, Friday or tomorrow. If you're a channel member, you'll be able to watch that. Have you looked into MEQ? MEQ real estate play. They've been having some stock price depreciation, but it's coming out with some great earnings. Okay, let's take a look. I've looked at them, but it's been a while. It's been a while since I have looked at the Main Street Equity Corp. Here we are. All right, I'm going to pull up their 3-year here. All right. Well, I don't know if I would call that decrepitation, though. This actually doesn't look that bad. Other than, yeah, you've got a little bit of a slide since about the beginning of the year. So yeah, that's kind of a little concerning. But at the same time, when you look at this big buildup, and this will happen, you got to sort of look at the bigger scale. When you get a big buildup, and let's actually zoom out. Let's really zoom out. You can sort of see, here's COVID right here. Yeah, and then this little one in here, looks to be that Liberation Day one. But yeah, they've had a little bit of a move up, but they're getting a little bit of a retracement. I don't think I would be super concerned with that. Now, if we look at a little bit of their fundamentals, they do have a dividend. It's not big. It's like 0.085, which is pretty small. Normally, when you're in real estate, you start thinking about REITs and some of the larger dividends, but not so much with this one here. So this company here, they're a residential real estate company, but basically, as you'll notice here, they're focused on the acquisition, redevelopment, repositioning, and management of mid-market rental apartment buildings. So yeah, they're not pulling a lot of profit. They're definitely not treating it like a REIT. by any way, shape, or form. Now, let's go into the back end for a little bit here. Yeah, I expected a higher debt to equity ratio. We got it. Basically 109. Sorry, 109%. Yeah, debt to equity ratio. The return on equity, not bad. It's up at 15.90. You know, the point I love is 20%, but this is close. This is close. And 6.79. That's actually really good in a real estate company. So that's not bad at all. They've got a Actually, they just raised their dividend to 4 cents, so that's not too shabby either. Yeah, I think I like them. I think I like them. You're not going to get big dividends with these guys. This is going to be a growth play for sure. But I think they will rebound. Now, if you are interested in this stock right now, let's go back to that overview. This here is the kind of that. I'm just going to pull up the 1 year. This retracement, this is, giving you an opportunity to get in at a little bit of a lower price. But yeah, this is one that, you're not going to make a ton of money on it initially, but I think you'll get some steady growth out of it for sure. All right. And Andrew says, everyone hit the like button. Yeah, absolutely. Pound that button. Let's just keep it going. Keep it going for sure. All right. Guys, it looks like this is a shorter one. 1 hour, 17 minutes. That's fine. Actually, this is the normal length of these. Lately, though, we've been going really long, but that's fine. If you guys got stuff to say, we go long. That's just the way it works. All right, I will be back. Oh, you know what, guys? I'm actually back tomorrow night. The channel members have an exclusive live stream. So tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern. If you're a channel member, I'll be here for that. I did not give you guys an option for Friday. That's a mistake. I did mean to give you guys an option to earn a show on Friday. So we'll have to see. I'll take a look at my schedule. You never know. Maybe I'll sneak something in. We'll have to look. I can't make any promises right now, but for now, guys, enjoy the rest of your day. I will look forward to channel members tomorrow night and everybody else definitely by Sunday. Sunday will be a great show. Until then, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Take care and have a good one. Bye-bye.